In this video, we're going to review the concept of vectors in R. So a vector is the most basic data structure that we have in R, and it is designed to hold a collection of values of data that are all of the same type. Even if you just have one item, that's still a vector. These items in the vector exist in a particular sequence, right? So they do have an order. They're not just arranged in any old fashion. And the basic way to create them is using the C function that we've already learned about. Here's an example of how we could do that. So if we wanted to create a numeric vector, like you see in this top example, we could put a list of numbers separated by commas within the C function. Or in the second example, we could have a series of character strings, again, separated by commas. So those were numeric and character vectors, which hold numbers and character strings respectively. We can also have specific types of numeric vectors. For example, vectors that are designed specifically to hold just integer numbers, which you can see in the second example on this page. Here we have to specify that this is an integer number, a whole number, by putting the letter L right after the number. That means R will recognize it as an integer, not a number that could potentially be a decimal. Numeric vectors can hold both integer numbers and decimal numbers, but internally they will treat the integer values as if they could be decimal values, right? So it would change internally how the computer stores them. We can also have logical vectors, like you see in this last example, where we hold true and false values. So when we want to get a particular item out of a vector, we need to do something called indexing. And the way we do that is we put square brackets like these right after the variable name of the vector, and then we put the number, the position of the item inside the square brackets. So if you wanted to get the first item from this vector called fruits, you would put a 1 inside the square brackets and you would get the first item. If you wanted to get the third item, which is orange, you would put a 3 inside the square brackets. There are lots of functions which work with vectors. So for example, if you wanted to know how long a vector was, right, how many items are in that vector, you can pass that vector to the length function, which will return the number of items in that vector.